The hostage situation in the Middle East takes center stage at President Reagan's first news conference in 4 months.
A Springfield neighborhood fights plans for a pool hall, and an elderly Connecticut couple dies when their car is struck by a train. Good evening, I'm Dave Matson.
And I'm Beth Carroll. Stay with us for these stories and all of today's news, weather, and sports next.
Just announced an important bulletin from Chrysler Motors and Springfield Chrysler Plymouth. A fabulous factory rebate program. Cut your best deal on any Chrysler New Yorker Turbo in stock. Then take an additional $2,500 off. Pick a LeBaron Coupe and get a $2,000 rebate. Or choose the Reliant American already reduced by $1,400, and Chrysler will give you an additional $500 rebate. This offer is for a limited time and only while the inventory lasts at Springfield Chrysler Plymouth, Boston Road, Springfield.
I'd give anything to get back into this size 10 dress. Diets never worked for me. The food had no flavor, so I cheated. Well, with Nutrisystem, it's gonna be different. See, I lost 50 pounds on the Nutrisystem Flavor Set Point Weight Loss Program. I ate delicious food, so I never had to cheat. Look, I'm a 10 again, and I'm going to stay that way.
In Wilbraham, Holyoke, and Northampton, opening soon in the Big D Plaza in Springfield.
WWLP TV 22 Springfield. Live from Western Massachusetts and New England, your #1 half hour of news and information with Dave Madsen, Beth Carroll, John Dutzman, and meteorologist Steve Caparizzo. This is News Center 22's Night Team.
Good evening. President Reagan held a nationally televised news conference tonight, his first in 4 months.
And as expected, the president faced questions on the hostages currently held in Lebanon, other foreign policy matters, and even the heated GOP presidential race.
9 Americans remain hostage in Lebanon. Tonight, Reagan vowed to continue efforts to win their release.
It's very frustrating to try and establish a location, knowing, of course, that you are governed by the fact that unwise action on our part could bring about harm to the hostages. But we've never let up, and we never will, in trying to obtain the freedom of all the hostages.
The president also tonight giving Vice President Bush a helping hand on the Iran-Contra affair issue.
Yes, there were reservations, but I'm not going to go into, just as he didn't go into the private discussions that we may have had.
Although Reagan refused to say precisely what Bush had told him in meetings concerning arms for hostages. And referring to the Israeli military crackdown on Palestinians, the president said, "We don't support that sort of thing," adding that the riots were not spontaneous.
We have spoken to the government there, and we've also spoken to the Palestinian leadership because there's every evidence that these riots are not just spontaneous and homegrown.
He would not elaborate further on who the outside instigators might be. Reagan also tonight issuing a fresh call for aid to the Contra rebels fighting the Nicaraguan government.
President Reagan also said that if Republican presidential candidate Pat Robertson knew where American hostages were being held in Lebanon, he didn't let the White House know. During an Atlanta campaign appearance today, Robertson claimed that his Christian broadcasting network knew where the hostages were just after they were taken. Now, later, a spokesman clarified those remarks, saying Robertson referred to passengers taken from a TWA airliner hijacked in 1985. TV evangelist Jerry Falwell says the First Amendment is being used to protect a sleaze merchant. The Supreme Court today ruling that even pornographic satire deserves freedom of speech protection. The court threw out an emotional distress suit brought against Hustler magazine. Hustler publisher Larry Flint says he's delighted with that ruling.
The South African government has come down hard on 18 opposition groups. The government has officially banned all political activity by those groups. Bishop Desmond Tutu says some government opponents will see the move as a declaration of war. And in South Korea, anti-American demonstrators took over the U.S. Information Service building. The students made a lot of noise but didn't cause much damage. They called for greater democracy in South Korea and for the U.S. to stop interfering in Korean affairs. The demonstration comes on the eve of the inauguration of the newly elected South Korean president. The country's national police force is on alert through Friday to stop any more inaugural violence.
Back at home, plans to put a pool hall in a Springfield neighborhood could be behind the 8 ball. Residents strongly oppose the establishment, but its owners are trying to convince the city council and area residents that pool halls aren't what they used to be. Night Team reporter Liz Walker has the story.
Are you sure you want to play again?
When some people think of a pool hall, a dark, smoke-filled room littered with beer bottles and fighting is often the image that comes to mind. Movies like The Color of Money sometimes enforce that image.
Pool halls can be great, but it depends where they're placed.
The Axler family wants to open a pool hall with 12 tables here at 10 Orange Street, next door to a bowling alley they own. But some residents of the Springfield Maple High area say they've worked hard to upgrade their neighborhood. They claim this pool hall could bring it back down by attracting drug pushers and other undesirables.
The folks who want to put this pool hall here say that residents shouldn't be as concerned as they are. For one, they say there will be no alcohol served here. 2, there will be no gambling. And 3, no one under 18 will be allowed inside.
But still, during an afternoon City Hall public hearing, residents expressed their concerns to the City Council's Planning and Development Subcommittee. The owners of the pool hall are looking for a special permit so they can open.
And pool halls just ain't the right thing when it involves a neighborhood trying to do something for themselves.
You could put a firearms dealership there. Pretty much if it's own business and you have the licenses, that's basically what you can do there.
However, Axler says he doesn't want to do that. The subcommittee didn't make a recommendation today. One is expected next week. In the meantime, both sides plan to meet in hopes of reaching some kind of compromise. On the Night Team in Springfield, I'm Liz Walker, News Center 22.
It is just a matter of time now before work begins on 2 major school projects in Springfield. Mayor Richard Neal announced today that the 2 architectural firms for the projects are Tessier Associates, and they will renovate and expand Commerce High School, while Keolo Beanick will build a magnet school.
I think it means that we have reached a significant milestone in the decision to construct the model neighborhood school, and in addition, we will be addressing one of the most serious needs of any building in the city that's owned by the government, which is the gymnasium at Commerce High School, which is in desperate condition.
The projects cost a total of $20 million. 90% of the money will come from the state. A mild gain on Wall Street today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was up fractionally. Stocks appeared to run into resistance when the Dow tried to surpass its post-crash high of 2052.
Leading off our 19 recap of local news tonight, the death of a Suffield, Connecticut couple after their car was hit by an Amtrak passenger train. 74-year-old Roman Karnashevitz and his 71-year-old wife Mary were killed when their car was hit broadside by the train around 9 this morning in Windsor Locks. A witness told police Karnashevitz drove around barricades at the railroad crossing, then stalled on the tracks. None of the 24 passengers on board the Washington-bound train were injured.
An autopsy was performed today on the body of a murder victim found last night in Chicopee. The gunshot-riddled remains of 30-year-old Michael Molan were found in a Jamrock Drive storage bin that police say was rented to the man accused of murdering him. 24-year-old Richard Zagransky of Chicopee was arraigned Monday on a single murder charge. He's being held without bail. Molan's murder took place over the weekend in Amherst.
An Enfield, Connecticut landmark is no longer. The Mountain Laurel restaurant, in business for some 50 years, has closed. All of its furnishings will be auctioned off next week. The restaurant was sold recently to a group of doctors who plan to turn it into a medical office building. All of the restaurant's furnishings will be open to bids, including many antique pieces. The auction is a week from Thursday at 11 a.m.
Stay with us for more of News Center 22's Night Team. Up next, a look at a new condom for women.
Some promising news to report about drug and alcohol abuse among teenagers, and the sit-in continues at Hampshire College. We'll be back.
I just drove in the New England 500. No, it's not a race. It's a limited edition Volkswagen Jetta GL for New England only. And Jetta is the best-selling European nameplate in America. Each New England 500 Jetta is specially equipped with sunroof, AM/FM stereo, air conditioning, and more. So visit your New England Volkswagen dealer today and drive the New England 500. Because frankly, there's no competition.
One department at Servview amazes me. We've expanded and still it keeps growing. That's our window treatment department. Shades, blinds, and verticals.
When you're good, and Servview wins hands down on price, selection, and of course someone to talk to that knows window shades.
Our professionals will measure and install your blinds at fabulous discount prices.
We've been around for 32 years, and everyone knows you can trust Servview. Our name says it all.
Servview now open in Westfield.
Meg Webb's travel agency is going places.
I'll get you away from it all.
Because she sends people places they want to go on New England telephone.
Hope you're in shape. You got to ski 12 miles to get there.
We make it easy. An average business toll call with us is still less than $1. The more you pick up on New England telephone, the more your business will pick up.
I dropped by to see you, but it's too far to swim.
We're the one for you, New England telephone.
Part of the Nynex family.
Hey, you've been waiting long? I would have been here sooner, but some idiot dropped his engine in the middle of the road back there. Yeah, breakdown again, huh? Well, I hate to tell you I told you so. But right now, you can save mucho moolah on the new Oldsmobile. They're having their Washington's birthday sale. Yeah, you can get yourself a fine deal. Oh, that's the problem. You got no engine. No.
Only 1 week left in Oldsmobile's Washington's birthday sale.
In a united show of support, hundreds of students rallied outside an occupied building at Hampshire College today. It's a protest against racism. About 50 minority students have occupied the Dakin House on campus since yesterday. Students at Hampshire say their protest is different than the highly publicized one at neighboring UMass.
Racism is a very big issue on campus. I think even more so because there are so few minority students. That's one of the purposes of this whole movement, is to try and get more minority students here.
Protesters have issued 12 demands, most of them dealing with the school's commitment to minority issues. The students gave college president Adele Simmons a copy of those demands. Simmons hasn't had any comments so far. She'll meet with the protesters tomorrow morning. Only 100 of the 1,100 students enrolled at Hampshire College are minority students.
The state's anti-drug campaign aimed at junior high school students appears to be paying off. A new survey of Massachusetts 7th graders shows that drug use is on the decline. The good news came today from Governor Michael Dukakis. The survey by the Department of Public Health indicates that students are gradually turning away from drugs. Dukakis gives the credit to drug education in the schools.
Because if we can reach out to youngsters all over this state and do what we've been doing for the past 3 years, if we can begin drug education early, in the early elementary grades, not wait until junior high school and high school, I think the results will be even more dramatic.
A program called Go-Getters gets the kids involved in saying no to drugs.
Well, it sort of teaches the kids, like, to be aware of drugs and what it can do to you, and, like, so they know to stay away from it, and it helps them a lot.
The trend away from drugs is reflected in the city of Springfield, where school drug arrests are reported down.
Centers for Disease Control estimate as many as 460 Americans will get AIDS from tainted blood transfusions despite blood bank screenings. They say there is a remote but real risk of contracting the disease from a transfusion. Researchers estimate the odds are about 1 in 40,000 that a blood transfusion will contain the AIDS virus.
A new condom-like device that is worn by women will be tested in the United States this spring. The condom was designed by a Danish gynecologist. The new condom, called the WPC 333, is disposable. FDA testing must prove that the female condom is as good or better than the male counterpart. Researchers say this is no problem because the female condom is made of polyurethane, which is stronger than the latex used in men's condoms. Unlike oral contraceptives, diaphragms, spermicides, and IUDs, the female condoms reduce the risk of pregnancy as well as the risk of sexually transmitted diseases. That is expected to be a strong selling point due to the rising fear of sexually transmitted diseases, particularly AIDS. Researchers expect the condoms to be on store shelves by the end of the year.
Sunny days and chilly nights are in our weather future.
And Steve says to expect typical February weather for the next few days. His complete forecast up next when the night team continues.
Reach high with a 2-foot step stool from the Rich Ladder Company, just $4.99 in February. Look for the banner at participating True Value hardware stores.
Another 30 seconds of common sense.
The Hyundai XL GLS versus the Sentra GXE, the Mazda 323 Luxury, or the Corolla LE. Ready? Air conditioning, check. Power sunroof, check. AM/FM cassette, check. Alloy wheels, check. Now check this. The Hyundai XL GLS with all these goodies still costs less than the competition without any of the goodies. Check for yourself.
Test drive the 1988 Excel at Belize Hyundai in West Springfield. We sell cars that make sense. Tune in tomorrow for News Center 22 at 5:30 for a report on the illiteracy problem in this area. Dr. Dinadel will show you what pets can do for the ill, and will bring you another installment of the special segment Born to Shop, all tomorrow at 5:30. Steve's night team forecast when we return.
Well, the first thing that strikes you is the colour of it. A sort of pale gold that puts you in mind of a shaft of sunlight on a new thatched roof. They call it the ox brand, as you know. Not for the strength of it, not at all. Though there's plenty
Ask any Irishman about an Irish-style ale, and you'll hear him describe
But I'm
O'Doul's.
speaking about the taste. It wasn't 2 weeks ago, Friday.
On the other hand, it might save some time if you simply try it yourself.
All dressed up, he was in a pair of shiny new brogues.
Well, for a winter night, this is typical, but compared to previous nights, it's cold.
Yeah, the temperatures have gone down a bit chilly out
And, you know,
there.
it's a little bit tough to take tonight because it's as cold as it's been in the past few nights. We're dropping into the teens already. And I suspect for the next couple of nights, if you live in a cold spot, 10 or 8 degrees is not out of the question. So that's cold weather for this time of year, and it's going to be around for the next couple of days. And we had some clouds roll in here late this afternoon. We have the 5 o'clock satellite picture, and a lot of what we call instability clouds formed by the heating of the sun, that moisture rising off the ground into the cold atmosphere, producing these instability clouds, producing a few snow flurries off to our west. Now, when you take away the sun, look what happens in the past 6 hours. These clouds more or less dissipate, melt away, with the exception of the clouds in the proximity of the Great Lakes. Back in here, western New York and northwestern Pennsylvania, some very heavy snow squalls are continuing up near the shores of Lake Erie, upwards of 10 inches of snow tonight alone, and there's still warnings out for some heavy squalls to move into western New York State over the next 12 hours or so. Meanwhile, just some patchy clouds over southern New England. It's down to 19 in Springfield, and the same temperature up through Holyoke, South Hadley, 20 up at Northampton, 16 at Greenfield. The cold spot tonight, Dean Clark over in Hamden, in a cold valley, no wind, temperature down to 12. We have 17 in Feeding Hills. Again, everybody has pretty much clear skies, with the exception of the Berkshires, some clouds over Berkshire County. It's 18 over through Pittsfield, 16 Great Barrington. Our high today, 36, and the low for the day is the present temperature of 19. Here's a look at our national weather map. We have not a great deal of wet weather anywhere across the country. There's the snow showers across western New York and Pennsylvania. Otherwise, cold, dry weather into the upper Midwest, and that cool air is penetrating all the way down to the Gulf Coast. Temperatures only in the 50s today. And nice and warm in the southwest, over 80 today across parts of Arizona. But this is what we'll be watching, this cold air dropping down over us for the next couple of days. Tomorrow will be like this afternoon was. We'll start out with sun, and during the afternoon the clouds will boil up. Again, these instability clouds, and there may be a stray snow flurry, but that would be about it. Most of the snow flurries will be back in here over the Great Lakes, western Pennsylvania, and western New York State. Now, we're keeping tabs of the jet stream for the next couple of days because it may change a little bit for the first part of the weekend. Now, this jet stream pattern will keep us cold and dry through Friday. Now, what I'm watching is the chance there may be a little ripple, a little storm system dropping down out of the Great Lakes and moving southeastward, just south of New England on Saturday. And if that's the case, it may tap some of this moisture off the Atlantic to give us the chance of some snow to start the weekend off. Meanwhile, out west, it should be pretty mild and dry for the next several days. My forecast for tonight, it's going to be a cold one, folks, with... Now, wait a minute, this isn't Christmas time, is it? I'm in a time warp here. Mostly clear overnight. It'll be cold. 8 to 16. Winds will be light and variable. For tomorrow, a nice morning with a lot of sunshine, then afternoon clouds and chilly, 26 to 32 with light winds. Tomorrow night, becoming clear, cold again, 5 to 15. And on Friday, partly sunny with clouds arriving late in the day, highs 25 to 30. In the extended outlook, there is that chance of some snow on Saturday and 35, then drying out late Sunday into Monday, and temperatures will be near normal or slightly below normal for the next 4 or 5 days. So it's going to be like winter through the end of February.
What you'd expect this time of year.
But it's, you know, it's not spring for another 24 days, so we have to be patient here.
Oh, you're counting down, huh?
Counting down, absolutely. Checks on the calendar.
A lot of people are.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay.
Well, the Boston Celtics are back home after a long road trip.
But the parquet floor at the Boston Garden wasn't as friendly as you might expect tonight. John Dutzman will have the highlights and all the scores next.
It's spectacular. Washington's birthday, combined with the opening of our newest dealership, means a celebration at all three Bertera dealerships. The all-new Bertera Dodge and Route 20 in Westfield joins Bertera Lincoln Mercury and Superior Subaru in bringing even more selection and savings to you. The Dodge Caravan, the perfect family vehicle, introductory priced at $12,795, and this is equipped, not stripped. Let's celebrate at Bertera Dodge, Bertera Lincoln Mercury, and Superior Subaru.
We're gonna bring on the beef, spread on the cheddar. McDonald's cheddar melt. First we bring on the beef, spread on the cheddar. Cold and saucy. Much better now. Grill up the onion, stack it on a rye bun. Cheddar melt. For a limited time, so come on, all together say. Bring on the beef. Spread on the cheddar. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's cheddar melt. For a limited time.
This is the all-new Pontiac Grand Prix. Motor Trend called its advanced design squarely in step with the 90s. They said its spectacular interior produced a driving environment second to none. They said where the new Grand Prix really stands out is its handling. They like it so much, they named it the 1988 Motor Trend Car of the Year.
Get a Washington's birthday buy on Grand Prix, Motor Trend's Car of the Year at your Western Mass Pontiac dealer today.
What you would call a real cliffhanger for the Celtics tonight.
For a while tonight, I think the Celtics probably wish they were back out on the road.
Yeah, they made this a little bit too close for comfort. By the way, you know you are news people. Can you tell the president that these things are interfering with my sleeping habits? I mean, I'm on, it's a half hour late here.
He's going to go to Miami. He's just,
I'll make a note of that, John.
You have
call
a
the president
down there?
Okay.
Yeah. I'm getting to bed a half an hour late tonight.
Sure.
The Celtics with a few new twists here. They get Jim Paxson from Portland in exchange for Jerry Seasting. They also put Darren Day on waivers. And Kevin McHale is out now with a bad knee. All this leading up to this game in the Garden with the Trailblazers, and it is very close, kind of fun here to watch. Here's Mr. Paxson, the new kid on the block, not dressing tonight, at least in the uniform. Pretty play here. DJ to Bird. Boston leads it by 5. Some fancy moves coming up, however, by Clyde Drexler. Portland keeps it close. In fact, holds the lead for a while. They're up by 6 at this point. Time running out at the end of the half. Larry Bird hits. It's tied 65 all. Now in the second half, watch this extra fast break for Portland. And it's going to go to Drexler again. Trailblazers lead by 11. Celtics come back. Larry Bird, 44 points on the night. This one puts the Celtics up by 1. Then the most important play by Bird. Celtics down by 1. 1:07 left. His shot is blocked, but he stays down on the floor, has the presence of mind to pass off to DJ. That is crucial because DJ will go in and get fouled. DJ wins it at the line. Let's watch this one more time by Larry Bird. This is why Larry Bird is the superstar in basketball, folks. I mean, he gets jammed, stuffed, down and out, is laying on the floor, and passes it off. 113-112 the final. Elsewhere, Milwaukee over Indiana, Dallas beats Cleveland, and Philadelphia over San Antonio, 98-96. Springfield's Vinny Del Negro and his North Carolina State Wolfpack hosting Duke. Duke, a team they upset a couple of weeks ago. Duke's still losing sleep over the last one. They're going to lose more sleep. Here we go. Down North Carolina. Del Negro hanging tough. Hitting right here. He's fouled. His team's down by 2 at the half. Now, this is a home game. They get all riled up in the second half. Vinny gets hot, and so does his team. 3-point land for Del Negro. Swish right there. Then Vinny pulls up and hits. The Pack down by just 1 point. Vinny 16 points on the night. Late in the game, Pack down by 4. Vinny at 3-point land again. He hits again. Pack down by just 1. Then the biggie, Vinny Del Negro with the pass to Shackelford to put the Pack up by 1 and to give him a lead for good. Vinny once again involved in the heroics tonight. And Dave Mattson down at the game. He approves, says, way to go, Vinny. 89-78 the final. St. George, Georgetown now. Redmond in white, ironically. Number 4, Michael Porter steals, goes all the way. St. John's by 1 at the half. St. John's coach Louis Mr. Calm Carneseca cheering his troops on. Straighten that tie out, Louis, will you? Coming up here, you're going to have Matt Russ to Shelton Jones. St. John's goes on to win this thing by 3 points, 69-66. is going to be the final score. Bingo. All right, Belchertown wins that game. High school hoop and girls hoop Southwick over Holyoke Catholic, a 70-37. Big news here for boxing fans. Michael Spinks will fight champion Mike Tyson for the heavyweight title June 27th. Write this down, June 27th, the date, Atlantic City, the place. This announcement coming from our friend, Mr. Donald Trump, the billionaire who owns a couple of casinos, at least, in Atlantic City. High school hockey at the Big E. This is a battle for Western Mass Championship. Last year, Agawam and Westfield. Here we go to the action here. A rematch of the big one that drew a tremendous crowd, and they had a nice crowd at the Big E Coliseum again this evening. Second period, Westside leading 1-0. The Brownies' Dan Atzelin with a great move. He scores on the backhander, making it 1-1. Later in the period now, it's going to be Tim Brickley scoring with another backhander here for him. 2-1 Westside. Final, however, 4-2 Agawam. On the board, Cathedral beats Westfield. Chicopee Comp Longmeadow tie at 1. Central over Holyoke 7-zip. Amherst 3. South Hadley 2. National Hockey League, Montreal wins. That's bad news for the Bruins. They creep up to 3 on top of the Bruins. Winnipeg 3. New Jersey 1. Toronto 4. Minnesota 2. And now to a very unique sport. It's kind of like weightlifting for dogs, but it really doesn't look like much fun, at least if you're a dog. It's called freight pulling. This is somewhere in Wisconsin. Look at this poor dog. You hook up a dog to a sled packed with dog food, and I mean, there you go. They say that dogs can pull 20 times their own weight. It doesn't bother them, but these dogs don't look like they're having too much fun at all.
No, it doesn't.
Poor thing. Poor things. That dog's name was Matthew, by the way.
We'll have to send Matthew a sympathy card.
See you later.
Thanks, John. Time out now for some fundraising. Here are the winning lottery numbers drawn tonight. The Massachusetts Daily, 8405. Connecticut's Daily, 664.
The Play 4 number, 2510, and the Lucky Megabucks numbers, 1, 2, 4, 5, 15, and 34.
You know, Community Bank has helped more families buy their homes than any other mortgage lender in the area. Neighborhoods in Springfield, Forest Park, Agawam, Chicopee, Palmer, Holyoke, and other local communities have gotten their start at Community Bank. Now, Community is helping homeowners do more with their money. With a low-cost home equity credit line at Community Bank, homeowners have access to their money whenever they need it for whatever reason. If you're in the neighborhood, stop into Community, your bank.
Mitsubishi. Does the ideal luxury car have what you need for both luxury and performance? Is air conditioning with automatic temperature control standard? Does it offer optional automatic electronically controlled suspension with ABS, electronic anti-lock braking? Toyota Cressida can't deliver all these features, neither can Acura Legend. So why do they cost so much more than the all-new Galant Sigma? New V6 Galant Sigma, now at your Mitsubishi Motors dealer.
Live, it's Big Bird. On stage, it's Bert and Ernie. Life-size Muppets from Sesame Street are coming to your town. They've come alive in a stage show. A show that's full of brand new songs, stories, and lots of fun. See Sesame Street live. The characters you love, on stage and in person.
See Big Bird Sesame Street Story live at Springfield Symphony Hall, March 2nd through the 6th. Tickets available at Civic Center box office and Ticketron.
Be with us tomorrow for News Center 22 at 5:30 and 6 when we'll examine the illiteracy problem in this area. We'll also tell you more about the legal rights of tenants.
Paul Strassels explains some of the tricks involved in computing your taxes. And Dr. Dina Dell shows you what pets can do for those suffering an illness. Just some of what we'll bring you tomorrow. John?
In sports, we'll have the TV 22 High School Athlete of the Week. We'll take it down to the Big E Sportsman Show and give you some coyote calls. Steve?
John, it's going to be a real cold start to the day tomorrow. If you want to wake up, just stick your head out the window. Temperature 15, sunshine, light winds, and by the way, sunrise now is approaching 6:30 in the morning. Warm coat tomorrow, 50% sunshine. Afternoon temperatures close to 31. Dave?
Take your word for it. I never see it. Well, if you're a diehard Bruce Springsteen fan, well, you're probably not in Western Massachusetts tonight. More than likely, you're in Worcester. Springsteen fans have been hanging around the Centrum since Wednesday, hoping to catch a glimpse of the boss. Springsteen has been rehearsing in Central Mass, getting ready for his Tunnel of Love tour. Weren't you on that tour, John? It starts tomorrow. After 3 sold-out concerts in Worcester, Springsteen and the E Street Band will play in more than 20 other cities nationwide.
And that'll wrap it up for us tonight. Thanks for watching.
It's already Thursday?
Yeah, is it the morning already?
Well, we'll be here
Thanks
later
for staying
today.
with us.
See you later.
Good night.
Ever since the first car dealer made the first advertisement, it's been the same old thing. We're the cheapest. We've got the lowest prices, the best deals. Well, Northampton Honda is willing to put its money where its mouth is. Just bring them your bona fide deal on any new Honda in stock from any other dealer signed by a manager. And if they can't beat your deal, they'll give you $200 cash. Northampton Honda has over 150 new Hondas in stock. And win, lose, or draw, they'll give you $200 cash if they can't beat your deal. Northampton Honda, King Street, Northampton. Just 15 minutes from Springfield.
The Tonight Show, next in stereo.